It is 5:00 p.m. It's 5:00 p.m. on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. I'll call this regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of LaPointe to order. Roll call, Mike Anderson. Mike Anderson is on mute, I believe. I see him there. I see his phone. Okay. We'll get back to Mike. Amy Baxter.
Here.
Susan Brenna.
Here.
Samantha Dobson.
Here.
And Glenn Carlson here. Mike Anderson.
I'm here.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, Mike. Public comment A. Is there any public comment? Yes, Paul.
First, I was curious on this law enforcement survey. Why did it list 0 to 12 age group on the survey? I have to ask, how would a 3-year-old fill out a paper copy? I mean, they use a crayon, or they just match their fist on a computer keyboard or mouse to fill out an online survey? And secondly, I would hope that if the town purchases or leases a refrigerated vehicle for the ferry line, that the users of this vehicle are charged for its use. The rest of the ferry users shouldn't have to pay for it subsidized.
Thank you, Paul. Any other public comment? Dave.
I've owned property for 17. I think it would be helpful if the town board would have some listening sessions. Perhaps a different member would have host a 30-minute listening session once a week. Right now, it seems that you're in an echo chamber. And a prime example of that is this policing survey. That's a 2-question survey, a simple survey. How much policing do we want? How much do you want to pay for? And it turned into something that many people laugh at, some cringe, and a lot are embarrassed, right? Listening to people face to face would give you guys an opportunity to collect quality information and opinions, unlike the anonymous internet clicking data boxes in this survey.
Thank you, Dave. Any other public comment? Okay, moving on. We are joined tonight by a representative from Congressman Tom Tiffany's office. And I would entertain a motion to move item 5G to the president.
I'll make a motion to move 5G to now. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So we are joined by Mr. Jim Miller from Congressman Tiffany's office. Welcome, Mr. Miller. And you have a number of people in the audience here, but primarily you've got the town board in front of you, and one member is on Zoom along with you. So you're here to discuss the Apostle Islands National Park proposal, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Board member, hear me? Wonderful. All right. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. I'll try to be brief as well. Been making the rounds to a lot of townships. I was in Muckwet, the Towns Association, last night and presented as well, including the Bayfield County Board. As you all know, the congressman will be introducing a bill to redesignate the Apostle Islands Lakeshore to a national park. The first step in that process is a hearing tomorrow in the subcommittee on federal lands, which the chairman or which Congressman Tiffany chairs. So there's going to be an initial hearing tomorrow in that subcommittee. The bill has been released, but it hasn't been titled yet or marked up as well. So we're a long ways to go in this process. But a little bit about, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the national parks, what you might not know. So there's actually 425 units within the National Park Service and more than 20 designations. That includes national monuments, national grasslands, national scenic riverways, of course, national lakeshore and national parks. And the national parks are really the highest level or the crown jewel of the park system. And because of that, it's designated for the most pristine and areas, and they get generally get the most visitors, and they subsequently get the most funding as well. There is no national park in Wisconsin. This would be Wisconsin's first if this goes through as well. There is actually 63 national parks currently. So the Congress has the authority to obviously make this change, with the exception of a national monument. That's something that the president can designate. The president has the power to designate a national monument, but the rest requires congressional approval. By and large, it's a name change. All the protections that are currently applicable with the National Lakeshore would remain, including sport fishing. With the one exception, hunting is not allowed within a national park, and it is allowed within a national lakeshore. There has been minimal hunting within the Apostle Islands Lakeshore, primarily on Sand Island. So this bill would set aside Sand Island to be a preserve, so that presumably deer hunting would be allowed. I understand there's some bear problems as well that the Park Service has to take care of, but so there would be deer hunting allowed on Sand Island. As far as tribal sovereignty and rights, that would all remain as well. So there really isn't much for substantial changes as far as operations, or the way the protections that are in place for a national park. But the big upside, of course, is that there are bucket listers, I'll call them, that are out there that want to hit all the national parks within the United States. And by being on that list and having that designation, we anticipate an increase in visitors and in tourism to the area. So that's really the benefit of this as well. As you guys are aware, the county collects a local sales tax. So the city of Bayfield has a premier resort area tax, and of course there's other sales tax generated. And then, of course, in the private sector, for all those small businesses, we anticipate an uptick in visitors. I just saw today on the Bottom Line News, and I knew that tourism is significant in Bayfield County. I'm originally from Ashland as well, born and raised. That 1 in 5 jobs in Bayfield County are related to the tourism industry. And I was a little bit staggered by this number, but they reported that it has a $93 million annual impact just to Bayfield County. That's the impact on tourism. And so we believe that broadening the map, I guess, and the reach of the Apostle Islands as a premier destination will positively impact our communities, the local businesses in the area. And so that's the reason, I guess, for this bill. So it's pretty straightforward. I guess I could field any questions or concerns that you guys might have.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
I see that Mike Anderson has his hand up. And just to put this in context, the Congressman's office has asked a number of municipalities, including the town of LaPointe, to write letters of support for this change in designation. And so that's why we're considering this, and why we invited a representative from his office here tonight. Mike, did I see your hand up?
Well, I do have a question, Glenn. I have a question for Jim. Jim, you said it will positively impact our area, but don't you, that's a matter of opinion. Businesses would think it would positively impact, but maybe some other people wouldn't.
Sure, yeah. With increased visitors, there'll certainly be more traffic, and we understand that there are some people that are probably not in the hospitality or tourism industry, or not affected by it, particularly retirees that might not see the benefit of that. I guess I would say that you even retirees would benefit from it, because cafes need that business, the other services, the healthcare industry, your grocery stores, your gas stations, they all rely on those. On that revenue stream. Like I said, it's a $93 million annual impact to Bayfield County. It is the #1 industry in the county. Whether people are retirees or not, they rely on it, or their kids or grandkids or nieces and nephews somehow are related to that industry. So there is a change. There would be an increased generally in baseline funding to operate the park. We believe this would help with some of the deferred maintenance on the lighthouses and breakwaters and things as well. Plus, it also strengthens the case for ongoing increases in infrastructure for the area. For instance, I know US2, there's constantly been conversation about increasing that to 4-lane to help with light manufacturing in the Bay Area, to get it connected to 53. But there really isn't the traffic count to justify it at this point. But if you get, with a more traffic count, comes more attention to needing more resources. We've been in touch with the Coast Guard, obviously as well, probably emergency services as well. We anticipate there'll be some more needs for that as well. But tourism is a major driver, so that's undisputable.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, you're right about that. Tourism is a driver, but I was thinking more on the lines of like trash and septic and things like that. Are there thoughts about, or what are your thoughts about the increase in people, if this goes through, the increase in people to our area? Would they increase? Well, they'd have to increase for trash and septic and things like that.
Yes, and so it probably it certainly opens the opportunity for more grant dollars. But in particular with the city of Bayfield, there's only a handful of municipalities within Wisconsin that have a premier resort area destination tax, and the city of Bayfield is one of those. And it's something that you have to work through the state legislature to get. But they have a 0.5% sales tax, and most of them are all 0.5%, with the exception of Wisconsin Dells, which is 1.25%. And that additional sales tax is meant to help with additional local services. I know there was a concern, somebody mentioned that there wasn't much for parking in the city of Bayfield. I'm actually on my local city council. I live down in Hayward. That's where I'm calling from. And we've actually procured lots and to have more parking. I guess if I had more traffic in my community, particularly in the summer months, I would probably do metered parking for the guests to try to and get some revenue off of that to offset some of those services. But you're right. There is going to be more of a strain on local government as far as the police force and whatnot, and that's what that premier resort area tax helps to offset as well.
Thank you, Jim. I'm going to move to another town board member, Sue.
I have a question. Can you tell me what time that hearing that Tom Tiffany is going to be chairing and what the title of it is?
I don't have the information. I'm sorry. I'll try to get the information to your chair in the morning, because I don't have it as well. And I thought perhaps the hearing would be pushed back, because I understand Benjamin Netanyahu is going to do a joint hearing of Congress tomorrow or the next day. So I'll try to get that information. I don't have it myself either. I'm curious to.
Can you tell me what the committee name is?
Yes, it's the Natural Resources Subcommittee on Federal Lands, House Natural Resources. So there's the House of Representatives and the Senate, and within the House of Representatives there's a Committee on Natural Resources, and within the Committee of Natural Resources there's a subcommittee on federal lands. And so that's the starting point of this journey. That's where it's at right now. So if it clears that, it would have to go to the full Committee on Natural Resources, and then it would have to then go to the floor of the House of Representatives. Likewise, there'll have to be an accompanying bill in the U.S. Senate to get approved, and it requires the president to sign off. So
I would be interested in looking at that. So if you can, even if it's been postponed or something like that, if you could get that information to the chair, I'd appreciate it.
I will do. Yep. My apologies for not having that. I'm trying to track it down myself, because I don't know if it's going to be streamed on. I doubt it'll be on C-SPAN, because it's kind of down on the pecking order. But
I usually just go to the congressional site itself.
Yep. I'll try to get that. See if I can track down a link. So
Okay, thank you. Amy, no questions? Samantha, no questions? We're in session. We're not taking public comment at this point, Dave.
If I might add to, we've got about There's about 25 or so at date letters of support from various chambers of commerce, businesses, economic development folks in the area as well. So we've gotten some pretty broad support for this. I know that there's probably a few more questions right around the Bayfield Washburn area because of the increased traffic flow. But we think that the reach of this will be pretty broad. I know that some folks think it's going to be Apple Fest every weekend. I wouldn't anticipate that you're going to see that substantial of a bump in tourism. There is actually a really good report that's out, and I think I sent that to your chair as well from the Congressional Research Service that talks about why they do name changes and what the anticipated economic impact could be. And sometimes it's quite minimal, and sometimes it's a little bit higher, depending on location to large metro areas, what kind of resources are there, or what kind of aesthetic or things are there as well. So.
So Jim, have you mentioned a lot of letters of support so far? Have you gotten any from any municipalities or counties at this point?
Yes, we've gotten as far as all the way down to Burnett County. Several townships have given us some as well. The local units of government have been a little bit slower just because they've got to go through committees and post these meetings, just like you as well. But we've gotten several of them from townships just because they're a little bit smaller and a little more nimble. So, and then many chambers of commerce, of course. So, and then one of the bigger businesses, Norvado, signed on as well just recently. They're in favor of it as well, because obviously more customers they've got that helps their broadband reach for broadband. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have any other question?
I'm good. I think there's a long way to go, though.
Yeah, we're not going to be voting on this obviously tonight, but we do appreciate Jim, you coming before us, and I did distribute the information that you sent me today to all the town board members, and I believe it's also available to our public here. So greatly appreciate all that. And
yeah, I appreciate it. If anyone has questions or follow up, certainly the chair's got my contact info. I appreciate if you could share. You can call our WAS office and they can get you in touch with myself or another staffer. And yeah, we're here to. We've gotten some really good feedback, I guess, particularly with public safety. I was at the WT last night, and the emergency management, of course, they were concerned about as well. And it's a legitimate concern is, what do you do with inexperienced paddlers that are out there? So it's something that we're certainly taking a look at.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. Is there a motion to go back to regular order?
I'll make a motion. We go back to regular order.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the town administrator's report. Does anybody have any questions or comments on it? And we are fortunate. Michael Kupta is joining us tonight.
Good.
In the event that anybody does have. Go ahead, Mike.
Michael, I see that for the Great Lakes on item number 2 on your report, the Great Lakes Island Alliance, and you think Ed might go. Do you know on the agenda, is there anything to do with zoning at that Great Lakes Alliance?
I haven't looked at the agenda. They just sent it out a couple of days ago. I have no idea what their plans are as far as this program.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, I got another question.
Go ahead, Mike.
On number 4, Michael, you for the ESB microgrid, you began filling out the EQ-1 environmental assessment for the state grant. So who's gonna finish that when you leave?
It's been forwarded to Ben and Joel Electric and Bill Haley at Check Bay Renewables. Who probably would answer the questions better than I would anyway.
Okay.
And ultimately, it's an energy committee responsibility.
Okay.
Any other questions for Michael on his report? There unanimous consent to place it on file?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, Public Works, Road Stock and Harbor. I don't believe there's anything specific on that. The next item, Airport Authorization of Airport Terminal Grant Application. And Paul prepared a memo. And if anyone has any questions, he is here to answer them. This is, as you know, the terminal building. Question?
I didn't.
Questions? Okay, is there a motion to authorize the submission of this application?
I'll make a motion to authorize the admission of the application.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, planning and zoning, recommendation on revisions to construction ordinance, chapter 205. And this comes as a recommendation from the TPC. And I believe it has been vetted by our building inspector as well as our town attorney. Are there any questions?
Well, didn't you send out a thing this afternoon, Glenn,
Yes.
from James Price? And right
Yes.
in his first opening paragraph, he says, I have not reviewed the final documents for the 205.
I sent them to him this afternoon and he has reviewed them and he's fine with them.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Didn't know that.
Yep, no, that was probably about an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
Is there a motion to adopt the revised chapter 205 ordinance?
In that case, I'll make a motion to adopt the chapter 205 building construction as written.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, recommendation on revisions to the direct sellers ordinance, chapter 345. I think people will remember we talked a bit about this. Actually, we had the application from the sauna folks and we deferred action on that. Subsequently, I suggested that the TPC take a look at coming up with some guidelines and that they be the people who will administer any of the guidelines that we come up with. They met and they didn't have much to say about the guidelines other than they would prefer that the town board be the one to administer those guidelines. I have talked to a member of the TPC this afternoon who indicated that they may have not understood fully what we were asking them to do. And so my suggestion would be that we send this back to the TPC for them to reconsider whether or not they can take this on as something that they do in the context of conditional use permit type of situation. So I'd entertain a motion that we defer action on the direct sellers ordinance, chapter 345, until after it has been resubmitted to the TPC and comes back to us.
I'll make a motion that we defer chapter 345 direct seller.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, Glenn, I just got a question.
Go
So
ahead, Mike.
I'm confused. So what you're saying is that they didn't know, the TPC didn't know what we were asking them, so that's why you want to send it back to them?
They thought that this was really just elements of a contract that we were concerned about, that elements be in a contract. They didn't really realize, I think, that the town board was asking them to evaluate whether a particular use by a vendor would be in the public interest and would be consistent with the comprehensive plan and with zoning and with the neighborhood. And those are all things that I think they recognize are within their wheelhouse. And so I think they would be, at least the one individual I talked with was willing to take another look at this. So we have a motion and a second.
Sam, did you have another?
Yeah, my question was, you had talked about them trying to gain public insight on this, and is that something that's gonna occur through the TPC?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, hopefully. I mean, that's the plan, is that they're going to take a look again at the standards that they set, and the standards seem pretty reasonable, but now they're going to take a look at it with the idea that they're going to actually be the ones to solicit public input on a particular use. As part from, asking for public input on what should be the criteria. So it will be similar. What we're looking at is similar to a CUP process without the newspaper advertisement. But I think the idea was that it would be, discussed with neighbors and notified neighbors and, potentially a public hearing and that type of thing. So. Okay, we have a motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, committee minutes. Have a whole raft of them. Does anyone have any questions or comments on the committee minutes?
I have a comment. I would just like to congratulate or send kudos to the Affordable Housing Committee for securing the $100,000 for the WHEDA grant. That's a lot of money.
Thank you, Mike. That is, in fact, a lot of money. Any other questions or comments on the minutes? Okay, is there unanimous consent to place them on file?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Next item, Harbor Commission, lease purchase of refrigerated vehicle. As some of you may know, that it became evident in the past week that the additional traffic that has been generated by the fact that Darlings is now the only grocer on the island has created a bit of a backup situation on the Bayfield side. So the Harbor Commission has been working with Darlings and talked to some other businesses. They've come to the conclusion that it would be in the best interest of the town to purchase a refrigerated vehicle. And to answer Paul's question, absolutely, they would intend to charge and make a profit on this endeavor. So they tonight met just about an hour ago and asked the town board to authorize them to spend up to $25,000, which is their statutory limit, without going for bids. And so they would like to do this soon. And so this is coming before the board. Is there any motion to authorize the Harbor Commission to spend up to $25,000 to purchase a refrigerated vehicle?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Sue.
I'll make a motion to authorize the Harbor Committee to lease or purchase of a refrigerated vehicle up to $25,000.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Discussion?
I have a question. Are all businesses able to utilize this?
Yes.
Is that who was involved in the conversation?
Not all businesses haven't been involved in the conversation. Right now, it's Darlings and the Beach Club
Okay.
have been involved, but they believe that the pub and Mijim and perhaps Seish, that this would be something that would be beneficial to all of the businesses that have a need for refrigeration on their product coming over from the mainland
And yacht club?
and the yacht club. Yeah, I mean, basically, I think any business,
Yeah.
um,
That has refrigeration.
yeah, that needs refrigeration.
Oh.
Otherwise, you know, in the summer when this is a big issue, right? This is when everyone's getting their stuff. You know, you've got meat and eggs and cheese and ice cream and sitting out in the hot sun. And so I think it not only will make everybody more efficient, but I think it will make everybody's food a little safer too. So, any other?
Well, who will manage the, like, and again, I don't know the volume.
Mhm.
So would it be that it could come with all of those businesses things, or who will manage, like, will that be part of Katie's position to orchestrate and let people know when their time slots are, or
Yeah.
will they have to let her know so that, I mean, I'm just wondering how that will be managed.
My understanding is this is going to require a coordinated effort between the ferry line, the Harbor Commission, and the businesses, as well as with their distributors. So, you know, it's not a simple thing, but it does seem to be a necessary thing.
Good.
Is there, we have a motion and second already? Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
One last question I have is $25,000 a reasonable expectation that we would be able to find a, I mean, has that been looked into? Is that?
Yes, in fact, at the Harbor Commission meeting, we saw up on the screen pictures of specific vehicles that they are looking at.
That were in that?
That were, the one in particular that they were looking at was 23,000.
Okay.
And it looked pretty good, at least from the pictures. So, and I think we've got a couple of folks, who are more adept at assessing equipment and vehicle condition than I am.
Or me?
So, okay, any other questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, Town Hall Administration Budget Summary Report. Has everyone received the budget summary report? Are there any? Did you say no, Mike?
No, I got it.
No, I mean, did you vote no on the lease purchase?
No, I voted yes.
Okay. All right, so budget summary report. The reports are before you. Does anyone have any questions? We seem to be tracking pretty well with the budget. And when we get down to the budget amendment, we'll have further discussion about changes that may need to be made. Is there a motion to adopt the budget summary report?
Make a motion to adopt the budget summary report.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, special event permit for the Madeline Island Marathon on May 17th, 2025. And Alyssa is really right there. Is there a motion to grant the special event permit to the Madeline Island Marathon for May 17th, 2025?
Make a motion to approve the special event permit for the Madeline Island Marathon on May 17th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, we have a final and best offer from Harmony that is interested in a very long-term arrangement to lease the cell tower, the new cell tower. They're asking that we, at least in concept, approve the amount that they're offering with the understanding that there will be negotiation on the terms of the contract. But they do not want to talk about the terms until we agree with the price. And so we have talked to them about what issues we have with the contract. They're aware of it. And they believe that we can come to an agreement with it if we let them know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that we would be, if we can come to an agreement on the contract language, that we would be willing to accept $180,000. Is there any discussion on that?
Is that typical to accept a price before verbiage?
I think it's unusual.
Mhm, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if, Michael, if you have any comment on this.
We've talked about this several times. All I can tell you is their representatives said that they have seen, this is their process. They typically will accept all kinds of language changes.
Okay.
You know, I think, I don't want to disagree with you, but I mean, I think it's not uncommon in business that you agree on a price and then you work out the details.
Okay, are they looking for action from us tonight?
Yeah, they want to know if the 180,000 is acceptable.
Okay. Is the 180,000 acceptable to the town board? This is obviously much less than the 500,000 we got on a similar arrangement with the other tower. However, lots of things have changed since then, including interest rates and discount rates for present valuing what this is worth to them. And in light of that, it seems like a reasonable amount given what interest rates have gone.
I have a quick question. It says best/final offer. So they have offered us other amounts.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's what I thought.
yes, yeah.
That's what I thought.
I
It's,
think they started at 120,000.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
is there a motion to proceed with this contract with a understanding that we would go with the $180,000 if we can agree on language? And as Michael says, they are aware of what language we're requiring.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike, did you?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to go ahead, move forward with the cell tower agreement and accept the $180,000 or whatever you want to write it up, and then we'll work on the verbiage.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Next item, UDC contract. And after quite a bit of work by our town administrator and our building inspector, they have actually come to a meeting of the minds on this agreement for services from the building contractor. And that is with Alder Engineering Corp. So is there a motion to accept this contract for uniform dwelling code inspections?
I'll make a motion to accept the UDC contract with Alder Engineering Corp. with discussion.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion?
You know, so he's got the new fees. So are they going to go into what? They're going to go into our new fee schedule? How are we going to work that out?
I would,
He charges fees, changes fees every year, I believe, whatever he's allowed to do. Those are what he charges people individually. Town does not legislate those fees.
okay.
Right. We don't. But do we put them in? We put them in our fee schedule though, for let people know what he charges, right?
No, we make his fees available to people when they come in for construction.
Okay. All right.
Any other discussion, questions? No? Okay. Is there, we've got a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, use agreement for the sauna at Joni's Beach. I think in light of our action on the direct sellers ordinance, we should probably defer this and ask the TPC to consider that as an application as well.
I'll make a motion that we defer the Town of La Pointe agreement for use of Memorial Park back to the TPC.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, we have extensive budget amendment for discussion. I believe everybody should have received that, and there are a number of items that we should consider in here. A lot of this has been covered in Michael's meeting memo. But as you can see in the notes, you know, a lot of notes of comments that should hopefully explain questions. We'll take this up more formally at our next meeting, but until then, does anyone have any questions or comments that we can answer between? Okay, hearing none.
Well, I have a question, Glenn, but I don't know if anybody can answer it. Does anybody know, like on the first page, about 3/4 of the way down, it's got the state grant for health services, and it says 12,984. Is that a one-shot deal? Do you know?
So that line item, there's two things. The accounting people put a lot of state grants just into that category. We know that about 6,000 of that 12,000 is definitely an increase in funding for EMS. Not really sure what the other 6,000 was for and whether that is properly classified into that line item or not. I don't know if Lauren has found the source, or Lauren and Melissa have found the exact source of that 6,000 and what it's intended for. So it's a legislative thing. I believe it's probably 6,000 for each year in the biennium, but I haven't gone back and looked, and generally those things come through the clerk and or the treasurer, and so the rest of the staff doesn't really get to look at any kind of paperwork that comes with those grants.
Thank you, Michael.
So that's an indirect answer to your question, but it's at least the legislative thing, so I would say no, it's not anything more than a one-time increase.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mike. Does anyone else have any questions right now? Feel free, if you have any questions in the next couple of weeks, send them to me, send them to Lauren, and we will get answers for you by the next meeting. And the plan would be that we will take action on this at the next meeting. Okay, moving on. We've already covered item G, and we'll put that on our agenda for the next meeting also. And then we have item H, reschedule the regular town board meeting on August 16th, which happens to be August 13th, which happens to be primary election day. And this room is otherwise occupied. What is the pleasure of the board for a change?
Should we just change it to Wednesday, the day after?
Check, so.
Rick? Good, okay. Amy? Mike,
Yeah, I'm good with it.
you might even be here in person, huh?
Yeah, the longer the better.
There you go. Okay, is there a motion to reschedule the regular town board meeting that was to be August 13th to August 14th at the 5 o'clock hour.
I'll make a motion that we reschedule the town board meeting scheduled on the 13th of August to the 14th of August
Second.
at 5 PM.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next item, clarification of compensation adjustment for internal accounting coordinator and future town administrator compensation or matters for closed session. And so we will be going into closed session for that. The town board, I will read, the town board may go into closed session during the meeting for considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility in which it is or is likely to become involved in accordance with Wisconsin statutes 19.851C. After the completion of the closed session, the board will come back into open session to act upon the discussion in the closed session or otherwise complete the business of the meeting before adjourning. So do I have a motion to go into closed session for those purposes?
I'll make a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of it.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, this is a roll call vote. Mike Anderson,
Yes.
Amy Baxter,
Yes.
Sue Brenna,
Yes.
Samantha Dobson,
Yes.
and Glenn Carlson, yes. So we're going to go into closed session. We will come back. I don't expect it's going to be a long session. But we do have some other things to cover. Thank you all. Hey, looks like it's